Well, welcome along to another episode of Kianski Car Stories, an episode that was really never meant to happen. A few weeks ago I decided to sell the car, unfortunately, although fortunately for the new owner. And so I decided to take the car out for a final wash and take some photos for the ad, and I saw puff of blue smoke and misfire codes on cylinders 1 and 5. So obviously you can't sell it like that. Did a little bit of troubleshooting. I don't think it's the coils, since I swapped the coils from 5 to 6 and the misfire didn't follow. So I think I just need new plugs and a new air oil separator. So that's what we're going to be installing today. That should do it. Hopefully it does. Otherwise I have bigger problems to worry about. And I'm gonna do a little bit different this time. Got myself a new GoPro that I'm using here, and got a head strap. So we'll give you guys a first person point of view on what it takes to replace all this. So hopefully it'll come out nice, and yeah, let's get going. Well, here is the air oil separator. It's a lot easier on the 987.2s. Essentially just have one hose that you need to disconnect from this side, bolt here, bolt there, and then you can just yank it out from these two connections. Access will be tight, but pretty much always the case on a mid-engine car. And then here are the spark plugs. Can't really tell a whole lot just by looking at them unless they're in really bad shape. And so they're pretty easy to replace, and then hopefully that'll do the trick. I am just replacing them with the standard model that came with the car, the Bosch, let's see, it is the Foxtrot Golf Romeo 5 November Quebec Echo 04 model. All right. To get access to the plugs, a few things need to happen. Gotta take the wheels off, gotta take the fender liner out, then you're pretty much at this stage. Then you gotta take the O2 sensor out, and then behind that there's a cover plate, which is down there. Once you take that out, you'll get access to the coils, and then once you have the coils out, you can then access the plugs. So a decent amount of things to do, but hey, it's that sweet flat 6 life. All right, so a good amount of various wrenches and sockets are needed just to get everything out. So we'll go ahead and start with removing the tape. Just didn't want any spider bros to accidentally go in and start a family in there. Okay, so there you should be able to see what we got going on. Grab the spark plug wrench and extension. Lots of extensions. So Porsche does not want you to add any anti-seize on the threads, so we're not going to do that. So shiny. All right, start with number 6. A lot of threads. And you gotta make sure that your socket is actually on the spark plug, because sometimes it won't be, and then you'll just be spinning forever. All right, so that is hand tight. And now we're going to torque them to 32 Newton meters or 24 foot-pounds. Oh yeah, so this happens a lot. So the other socket gets stuck on the plug. So you gotta put that back in. Wiggle, wiggle. And then it comes out. 24 foot-pounds probably doesn't come across on the camera too well. Okay. Make sure that's nice and snug. There we go. Now, more wiggling, jiggling, and nope. Come on. Well, this is quality footage. There we go. So, I just gotta do that 6 more times. But before I move on, I'll show you guys the rest of the install for the coils, and then I'll do the other 5 off camera. So here are the coils. I'm gonna keep the ones in the original location. Here's number 6. So the end of that just goes on the tip of the spark plug, and then the connector comes here. Gotta make sure the connector is out of the way. Push that in. Bring down until you hear the click. Well, I heard it. Okay. So the coil's in, connector's on, screws tight. So now that just has to get repeated. For cylinder 4 and 1, which is all the way towards the front, it's a little bit more difficult because you don't have as much access, but if you remove the plastic cover that's underneath the car, see down there, then you have this additional clearance down here for your torque wrench, and also your wrench to remove it initially. So definitely recommend do that to make things a little bit easier. All right, so we got all 3 of them in on this side. This trick of taping the socket to the extension worked beautifully. Not sure why I didn't do that from the start, but now you know. So one trick about getting the oxygen sensor in is you don't really have access to like the connector up top. And so when you tighten it down, you're going to be twisting the cable. So you really want to twist it the opposite way, such that once it's fully tightened, there won't be excessive twist. So we're going to go ahead and spin it clockwise about 4 times-ish, and insert. Okay, so here's how it turned out. So you can see the blue cable. It's got a little bit of twist in it, but nothing crazy. So that should do it. Now that all the plugs and coils are sorted and everything is connected, it's time to reconnect the battery. It's an important thing to note that anytime you're dealing with spark plugs or coils or anything electronic like that, you should always disconnect the negative terminal of the battery. And now we're gonna put it back on. It's been about a week since this has been off. That's gonna allow us to pop the trunk, because now we have to remove the foam cover and get access to the engine bay to replace the AOS, air oil separator. All right, we're gonna need some trim tools. This should do it. Let's start off with lifting this bad boy up. Now to get the engine cover off, there are 5 T30 screws. Move the foam. And there we are. Before continuing, go ahead and have yourself a sip of hot tea. Well, so here is the 9A1 engine. Definitely a little dusty. I never got around to detailing it. So back there you can see the air oil separator. So this is the hose. Looks like we'll just have to release it from there. And then to get access to actual bolts, we'll have to do that on the inside once we remove a few more components. So next step will be removing this plastic trim piece. And this usually just kind of comes up like that, exposes think that's a T45 on both sides. And then there's a bunch of clips. Pop this off, pop the other foam carpet out, and then there's another cover that we have to take off. Okay, a little tight in here. Okay, now some more clips. It's always super loud. You think everything is gonna break. There's that sound. Did I break any? Looks like I did. How did that happen? Damn it. Forgot about that screw. Oh, that's fine. That clips in. Good as new. Now we can take out the carpet on the inside. By the way, I realized my little LED work light is kind of flickering, and I think you could see it on camera, so sorry about that, but I don't think these other lights will have that problem. So this just pulls out. Now we have access to the front engine cover, and that just has these 10mm bolts and a couple of nuts. We have access to the belt, which is still in good shape, so that's good. Might as well just kind of look around. There's the alternator. There's the water pump. See that? Replace that along with a thermostat. A little fan, reservoir for the power steering fluid. Okay, so there's that hose. And there we go. So that's one. That's a E10. One on that side. And then that should be the other one, I believe. Right? Yeah. Yep. Alright, so to get this hose off, gotta push on the section with the ridges on each side and then pull it off. See if I could do it from inside the car. Hey, look at that. Oh, there goes the light. So brought my magnet so I don't drop it. In fact, when it comes to these kinds of situations, you can't wear gloves. You need that extra dexterity with your fingers. How many threads are there? Wow. So here's what's going on. So just took off this E10, and this other one is on this side. And just with access from the top, I'm having a hard time getting the socket to actually get on there and be able to remove it. It almost seems like this plastic shield is a little bit different, but I don't know, maybe not. So instead of doing that, what we could do is a 12.8mm, and on this one you can see it's got a smaller profile, and so with this it's a lot easier to go around and then start spinning it. So that will be the plan. Shout out to Corey on TCL for showing me that trick. All right, here we go. Yeah. See, that's much better. Not sure if you guys can see the action, but it's intense. Gotcha. Okay, now to get it out,
Probably best to take this bracket off so we can move this out of the way, and then it comes out from here in a very interesting fashion. Ah, there we go. I was wondering if I had to take the whole bracket off, but that just slides out. So that's out of the way. I should probably take that connector off. Let's see. Okay, now it's just wiggling it loose. We can pry it up from here. You've had a good run. It's almost out. Let go, O-rings. Oh. Just needed a bigger pry bar. We just gotta do this dance. Well, that was fun. Right before we put in the new one, do a little comparison. So this one has a build date of February 19th of 09, and this is September 18th of 2020. And notice that on this little post, that one's open, this one's closed. So design change there. The rest of it looks to be the same. And you can see the O-rings as well. So we are going to apply some REI oil to the O-rings just to help get that in there. Lubrication is key. By the way, these REI bottles are perfect for carrying in your car because they're graduated, so you can tell how much you need to add, especially in metric units. And they don't spill. Win-win. Don't need too much. So we know it can definitely come out this way. And then rotate. Rotate again. Oh yeah. Way easier that way. Synchronized rotations. Well, now that the AOS is installed, time to hook up the hose and the other connections that I took out and fire it up, see if I still have any misfires. Definitely kind of late. It may be after midnight, but if I don't know if this worked or not, definitely not going to be able to sleep. So let's go ahead and do the opposite order. Guy slides on there. Now for the hose. Moment of truth. the PSM is natural, that'll go away. I don't see any check engine lights. Now for a test drive and possibly an Italian tune-up to make sure that everything is all good to go. I have the engine covers on, but I'm gonna leave the carpets off, so it'll be quite a bit louder inside, but that's always fun. So that's what's going on there. And then we'll just leave that as it is. After driving for a bit, still getting the codes, at least through the Bluetooth dongle, but definitely nothing from the car. I'm gonna try to hook up my Durametric cable again, see if that gives me anything, or try to find another dongle. So I don't know if I believe this, but yeah, well, let's see how the car sounds from the outside. Definitely sounds great from the inside. That sounds fine. Sounds healthy.
Drove back to the garage and scanned the ECU with another dongle, got the same results. Decided to buy fuel system cleaner to see if my problem was dirty injectors. But my tank was pretty full, so I needed to drive for a while, which turned out to be a blessing in disguise. After driving on the freeway for 80 miles, checked again, and sure enough, no faults. Looks like the ECU just needed more time and mileage to reset, and all is swell with the new plugs. So that'll do it. Thank you for watching.